Here's the reality of my studio situation right now. I have really gotten into and probably obsessed with painting and using a Gelli plate, which I am excited to demonstrate at some point. But look at these combos. I am just loving the layering and the colors and the vibrancy. Do I have any idea what I'm going to do with these? I don't. Even when the colors don't really appeal to me, like this rusty thing, I think it's an opportunity to take some brighter, more vibrant colors when I have the chance and layer on top of it. That's what I did here. This is just a regular sheet of paper. Here's this mustard, which I actually really like, but then when it comes to layering on top with this magenta and the pink, I love the way it looks. So what I'm going to probably do is figure out a way to transform the ones that I don't love into something I do love. These, for example, I love. I love how the colors work together. I love the little texture coming through. This is American Crafts cardstock. You can see here the texture of it coming through too. This color combo, if you've known me for a while, then you know that it's something that I adore. Here's another one that's really fun that was just cleaning off the Gelli plate. Yeah, so adventures in experimenting and attempting to play. What do you think? Did you see a favorite? I love this one too. Here's another example of the flow and the texture coming through. I love these colors. There's almost movement in this one. Oh, hi Lula, you're back? Fun having you in the studio. I miss having a doggy in the studio. Hi. Hi. Look at that tail.
All right, friends, let's get into this creative journal. I initially scribbled down in black to elevate my understanding of what it means to heal through creativity. When things come into my head and I have the opportunity to write them down, I try not to be so concerned about having it be neat. Sometimes I'm more intentional with my writing. You can see some thoughts written out on the left and an example of a cool Gelli print on the right. Here I simply rewrote it as a goal, and then I want to cover up this scribbling down below. Let's walk through the process together. I am taking this Simon Says stamp white ink, and I think this is a Hero Arts stamp from a while back. It's a background stamp that I don't even know if I'm doing it right, but it doesn't matter. I want to soften up this Gelli plate printing slash all the extra scrapings that I had of paint while I was creating. I put it onto this page, and I think that the foundation of your creative pages or your art journal pages can be whatever you want them to be. I'm going to take some of this Tim Holtz Ranger paint here. This is the Distress Paint in Uncharted Mariner. And I'm taking this handy, fun tool, which has been my new favorite companion in the studio. It's a Catalyst W06. I've linked it in the description box below. And moving it around this Gelli plate. And you can see that there are nice bubbles forming. And with the excess, I'm going to try to cover up the scribble that I wrote. What I realized is that sometimes I put things in my phone, sometimes I write things in my journal, and I don't always write it perfectly. And I always don't have all the supplies that I want to illustrate what I'm feeling. For example, here, I still think it needs a little bit of watercolors on the Gelli plate, which is something that I have been experimenting with. So I'm dipping this Uli brush in water and then just putting down some paint on the page. What's nice about this free-flowing creativity that I've been really drawn to is that, number one, there are no rules. Number two, you can do whatever you want and experiment and really allow yourself, give yourself permission to try new things, try different combinations. and see where it goes. It doesn't have to have an end result. It almost is more about being open to the journey of connecting, or should I say, reconnecting with your creativity. So taking the gel plate and just stamping it right on the watercolor and trying to cover up that initial journaling, and taking this Zap heat tool to dry it a little bit is really an open invitation to playing and feeling as if you don't have to be concerned with the outcome, right? Or the result, and see how there's leftover ink here, or paint, I should say. I'm going to just plop it over here and see what happens. I found that being open to this is really good for me. I think I got some on the table there. Whoops. Okay, there's still a little bit more paint, and I'm just going to plop it down right over here. These colors, the style, this muddy yet magnificent mess on the right side can be just the starting point. And it's a good reminder, especially for me, somebody who likes to have a purpose or a result in mind, to just let go and feel the flow and see what happens. I truly believe that everybody is creative, and intuitively we can explore what we want that's beckoning us from inside. This is acrylic gouache in shell pink. And normally I wouldn't say that I would want to layer it on top of these darker colors, but I think it's really showing through nicely, yet also in a translucent way, so that the darker colors are coming through, the white is coming through at the top. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it anyway. I really love watching things just happen with this tool. And sometimes there's more paint that comes through and sometimes there's less. And now you can see that I've pretty much completely covered up the scribbled quote. And now I'm just getting the paint off of the page. Throughout this creative journal, I have made little and big marks with paint using this tool. Without a plan in mind, it's actually been really freeing, a freeing process of seeing what comes together and what unfolds. It still needs to dry completely. Here's a little bit of leftover paint on the tool, so I'm taking this paintbrush, which has a little bit of water on it, and just dabbing to not waste paint. And what I found is that wasting paint, quote unquote, I'm using air parentheses or whatever with my fingers, it's not about wasting, right? It's about just making these marks, and sometimes they'll turn into something and sometimes they won't. If you're anything like me, you may have fun tools where you gravitate towards the same colors. For example, this pack of Jane Davenport mermaid markers that I've had for years. I've only used one or two of them from the pack. And so now I think is a good time to get them going. And you have to remove the little fluorescent or neon yellow stopper, plastic stopper, and then you shake it and get it going. You squeeze the tip and the paint starts coming through the brush. And I love how vibrant this pink is. It's exactly what I was looking for. I didn't know it would spill out like that, but I suppose I could have left the dots there. But instead, I'm coloring it in. You can also put a splotch down and dilute it a little bit with water if you don't like how vibrant and bright it is. I happen to like it, especially given how it contrasts with these muted or different colors. I'm loving the way it's working out. And part of the process of exploring and trying new things or using your supplies and mixing them up is that you never know what's going to happen. Or maybe you expected something to happen and then you get a different result. I am going to take this to, lighten it up a little bit and see what happens. What's nice is that as you're going through and playing with the colors and playing with your supplies, you can really make discoveries, not only on the page, but I think within you. So I have a little bit more on my brush and I see that it seeped through on the next page. Do you ever find yourself making a little mistake and beating yourself up about it? You're not alone. What's ironic about getting some paint on a spread I thought I was done with was that it actually matches and I can work with it. Are there any areas of your life where you're finding you need to dare to trust the best case scenario too? Look, life can be hard. The last thing we should be doing is making it harder, especially when it comes to playing with our art supplies. I have had a lifelong tendency of being really hard on myself, really mean to myself. And I would never say these things out loud to anyone. Nobody I loved, not even somebody who I didn't like. So if you needed a gentle reminder that giving yourself more compassion is a gift that you deserve, here it is. I recently turned 44, and as hard as it gets sometimes, I will be moving forward with practicing more self-compassion. Life is too short to be unkind to yourself. This is from my Brave and Bold collection. I'm taking this Hero Arts neon pink and just stamping it, and look, it matches almost perfectly to that Jane Davenport pink as well. And what I found too is that when I have a supply in hand and I want to use it, I try to use it on other things. So this is just getting stamped in my planner as well. And you can see little splotches and splatters in my planner. I try to take any opportunity to infuse color wherever I can. Maybe you feel that way too. And look, there's a little bit here, so I'm gonna just stamp it, I think here. Oh, I changed my mind. Did I? Okay. I didn't want it to be off. I wanted the full color. So I'm stamping it here and then stamping it off there. Look at how nice that is. A bold and a lighter one. This, my friends, is my invitation to you. Go through your supplies that are calling to you and take 10 or 15 minutes and just allow yourself to play. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and let me know if you are intrigued by the jelly plate obsession I am currently going through right now and want to see more videos on that. Thanks as always for watching. Hope you feel inspired to get those creative juices flowing.